All right, welcome back to the Pucylowski Sports Hour. Finally back after a very long vacation, a quarantine, you can call it if you would like. Uh, no reason to do any explaining. Let's just go ahead and get right on into it, man. Today I'm going to do the first and second round of the NFL draft, my own version of a mock draft. I scoured a few sites to see if I could find a simulator that works the best, and I think this one will get the job done today. It's pretty cool. You can make trades in it, so I'm gonna try and make some trades if I see them to be necessary. It's got all the teams. It's got the college logos, which I absolutely love, and then it's got all the team needs on here. Some of them, I'm wondering where they're getting some of this stuff from. Like, I wouldn't want that if I'm on that team, but you know, I guess I have to trust it in a few instances, and I probably will today. I'll also have this little chart right here uh, with just height and weight on it. Since we have nothing to go off of, there is no combine this year. There is only the pro days, and I doubt anyone's gonna. Uh, I doubt there'll be a thing where we can stack them up. At least not yet. We've got a long time to the NFL draft. Anyway, I mean, when is the NFL draft? NFL draft date. It is April 29th. So, yeah, 2 months from now, 2 months and 11 days from now will be the NFL draft. So, I'll probably have one or two more of these by then, hopefully, uh, if I can bang them out. And things will change. I mean, today, big trade news the Colts traded and they have picked up Carson Wentz. So now, when I was doing a mock draft like a week ago, this was where I picked Mac Jones from Alabama for the Colts. Not going to do that anymore because, well, now they have Carson Wentz. There's also a few things. Will this Jets pick be traded by then? Um, you know, is someone going to trade up and take that pick? Where does Deshaun Watson land? Where does Sam Darnold land? Whole bunch of questions that still need to be answered. The big things that have already happened is the Rams traded away their first round picks. They picked up Matt Stafford, which is a very nice pickup, a good upgrade from Jared Goff. And then just today, Carson Wentz goes to the Colts, which means there'll be another video coming very soon where I will defend Carson Wentz, make my predictions for Carson Wentz, and tell you why you guys are all wrong. So that way, later on in the season, when he's 0-6, you guys can all roast the crap out of me. But I think I will be better off in the long run. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's stop bullshitting. Let's stop wasting time. Trevor Lawrence goes number one. Not even a question there. I saw some article that some people were saying Zach Wilson is graded higher than Trevor Lawrence. Shut the fuck up. He goes number one. Urban Meyer was there at the scout day, or at the pro day. There were a bunch of scouts there at the pro day, but the big thing is they're not there to get Trevor Lawrence. They're there to scout him before they even have to play them because they know they're going to play the Jaguars at some point this season. They know Trevor Lawrence is going to be on the other side leading that offense. So why not go ahead and get a scout on him? See if he can pick up some weaknesses. I don't think there's a lot of them besides that he's a rookie in the NFL. But, I mean, being 6'6", 220, he didn't run a 40, but he can run. I mean, just take the run 2 years ago against Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. I mean, take that play right there. That was like a 50-yard run. He's at full sprint in that run. Time that. That's his 40-yard dash right there in pads and with the helmet on. You know, he's fast, strong arm, can make all the throws. I mean, the only time I looked at him and thought, there could be some blemishes here was a year ago in the national championship against LSU. But that was against one of the best, if not the best, college football team ever, with just so many first, second, and third round draft picks off that team. And there's even going to be more in this draft. Jamar Chase, who opted out this previous year, going into the draft now this year. He's a talent. Justin Jefferson was a star. a bunch of Joe Burrow is going to be really good, as much as I hate the guy. So that was the only blemish I saw on Trevor Lawrence's resume. Besides, that sophomore year, there were a few interceptions here, but that's because he knew he was the best quarterback in football. You're gonna try and do things you can't do. I think with Urban Meyer, with a good coach, he's gonna have a lot of success because Urban Meyer has coached really good quarterbacks before and gotten really good quarterbacks into the NFL. So who's to say he can't do well with Trevor Lawrence, one of the best, if not the best prospect in NFL quarterback history. At the second pick, there's a lot of speculation who's going to go here. Justin Fields, Zach Wilson. I even saw some people picking Penei Sewell, which is a good pick here. There was one I saw, Devontae Smith was going number 2 to the Jets. I'd rather you trade back if you're going to do that. Make someone trade up to get Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. Here, I'm agreeing with a lot of the experts. I think Zach Wilson goes here. I watched him play one game against Coastal Carolina. That was the only game I saw because that was the only game I could actually watch of BYU this previous year. He's got good talent. He looks like a quarterback. The ball comes out of his hand like a quarterback. I don't know if he can make all the throws. I think he's going to need some work. But then again, he's going to be playing for the Jets. I don't expect anything big out of here. I think Justin Fields would be very happy not going number 2 to the Jets right here, and not having to play, in New York in that division that's going to be just so good. Miami's a threat. Buffalo made the AFC Championship, and New England won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. With Brady, of course, but with Bill Belichick as that head coach. They're going to be pretty good, especially if they can, get a good quarterback. That defense is going to be good. 3 or 4 guys opted out, so they're coming back. Don't be surprised if the Patriots are a good team and challenge for a playoff spot. So, Zach Wilson, good luck, bud. I don't think it's going to be a lot of fun for you. But you get to be drafted number 2 overall. Not a lot of people can say that. At number 3, the Dolphins here, they need a wide receiver to accompany Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker's a great receiver. He's not a number 1, unfortunately. He's a good slot guy. He can play the outside. And Tua needs help offensively because they're going to have to put up points is the problem. That defense is going to hold people, but, with the Patriots 2 years ago, with Tom Brady, that defense is all that. But if you're not putting up points, it just can't help that defense. It's the same with the Rams this previous year. Their offense just wasn't putting up enough points. And that pass rush and that defense can be as good as they want. If you're not putting up enough points, it doesn't matter. And, the quote you can take, anyone can say this. Well, the team that scores the most points at the end of the game wins the game. Consider that. So I think this is a big pick for here. It's between 2 guys, in my opinion, Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith. I've seen a lot more with Jamar Chase there. But I think the Dolphins are going to play off recency bias here. Tua needs a guy who's an all-star route runner and can make runs on short plays, medium plays, and long plays. Something that I think Devontae Smith showed a lot of at Alabama this previous year. And there's, like I said, a little bit of recency bias. He played in their stadium and put up all those yards and all those points against Ohio State in the national championship. I think there's a little bit of, this guy's a star right here. He's slender, he can climb the ladder, make all the big plays, and he's a big-time route runner, which is what Tua needs. Tua also threw the game winner in the national championship, 3 or 4 years ago against Georgia with Devontae Smith. They meet up again in Miami, so that's why I think Devontae Smith goes number 3 overall to the Miami Dolphins rather than them trading that pick. Doing a good job trading Laramie Tunsil, and they pick up Devontae Smith and beef up that offense. At number 4, you Falcon fans, please, I hope they don't mess this up. I know they might. there's a few ways you can go here. You could trade back this pick. If you felt someone was just begging to get Penei Sewell, because I think Penei Sewell is going to go to the Bengals, number 5. But I think you got to make a decision here with a new coach, new general manager. I think they will make this decision finally, and that is to move off Matt Ryan. It doesn't have to happen this year. It doesn't have to happen next year. But I think when you pick a guy like Justin Fields, you give him the opportunity. He's young. He needs time to progress, learn a system, get used to the speed of the NFL, get used to practices, get used to all the new play calls. And he also needs good coaching, learning not to hold on to the ball. That was his biggest problem a year ago, is he just held on to the ball too much. He can make all the throws. He's a leader. He's a fighter. He proved that against my Clemson Tigers in the semifinal game. He can be a quarterback of the future. He just needs time. This is the perfect situation for that. Matt Ryan can play his last 2 years in Atlanta. He can hang it up. He can, you can put up all those yards. And then Justin Fields can come in and he can pick up this offense. The last few years of Julio Jones. He's still got Calvin Ridley, who's very good. And hopefully, your team kind of stinks it up and you can bank up on some first-round picks and give Justin Fields some young talent here. I don't think you're looking to win the Super Bowl next year, as much as the Falcons' Instagram page would disagree. At the number 5 pick, just like the Trevor Lawrence pick, let's stop bullshitting. Joe Burrow needs protection. Take Penei Sewell. He's a 10-year tackle that's going to be a beast. He's a Teron Armstead. He's a Smith that was the left tackle for the Cowboys for 10 years. He's a beast. Big dude, opted out this previous year. He's going to be a great offensive tackle. Pick him. Help protect Joe Burrow so he doesn't tear his knee into 3 different, pieces. At the number 6 pick, the Eagles' new head coach, who I think is very funny. I don't know if he really knows his football that much. He's a head coach, but I'm sure he knows a lot more than me. But that press conference didn't look like it. The 6th pick here, they got rid of Carson Wentz, so now Jalen Hurts is the future here. So who are you going to pick to give Jalen Hurts some weapons? The big thing with Carson Wentz was he had no one to throw it to. Whether guys were hurt or he was throwing to a former college quarterback in Greg Ward, he needs weapons, and Jalen Hurts will need weapons as well, which is where you get a guy like Jamar Chase. People forget about how good of a year he had because he's in that offense. He was in that offense with Justin Jefferson and Thaddeus Moss and Terrence Marshall and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Joe Burrow. This guy's a star. He will be very good in this league. Now, with the Eagles, I don't know if he'll shine as much because Jalen Hurts is your quarterback, and I think Jalen Hurts has limits as a quarterback in this league. But you can't go wrong with a pick of Jamar Chase right here, in my opinion. At the number 7 pick, the Lions traded Matt Stafford like the Eagles did with Wentz, and this is where you got to get a quarterback of the future. A lot of people had Justin Fields dropping all the way to right here. I think you picked Trey Lance right here. I've seen a few things from him on YouTube. He's a North Dakota State guy, so, if Carson Wentz succeeded very early on, I think Trey Lance has got a chance. But Trey Lance, I think it's the same thing, a lot like Zach Wilson. I'm sorry, bud. I don't think it's going to go very well. Zach Wilson is going to be with the Jets, and that's not a good situation. And I think the Lions is the exact same. Even with that new coach who said he's going to, I don't know, he said something like he's going to eat your dick off. It's something like that. I'm not even kidding. Go watch the press conference for the Lions' new head coach. He's like, we're going to get up and eat your dick off. It didn't make any sense to me, but go ahead with Trey Lance. Good luck. He'll have some okay talent there. DeAndre Swift is there. Kenny Galladay, T.J. Hawkinson. I don't know about that offensive line, and I don't know about that defense. But maybe he can revive this Lions franchise that wasted a Matthew Stafford and wasted a Calvin Johnson and has wasted a Barry Sanders in the past. The 8th pick in the draft, I think you pick the Panthers need a corner. It says it right here. This is where I actually believe them. There's the Panthers cornerback. That's their third thing. They say they need a quarterback. I think he can stick with Teddy Bridgewater for some time here. Who knows? They may get Deshaun Watson. That's been rumored, and you may not even have this pick. But who knows? I think you pick Surtain here. If it was today and the draft was right now, take Patrick Surtain. Very good corner. You need some help on that defense. Ever since Ron Rivera left, that defense has not been great. And Surtain is a good corner. I don't know if he's a number one guy, but he can lock up some guys. And the same goes with this ninth pick for the Denver Broncos. You pick the corner from Virginia Tech. No idea who he is, but you need one. Pick him. 10th pick. The Cowboys need help to defend Dak Prescott. You know, they Tyron Smith and Zach Martin are getting old. Travis Frederick retired. You got Leo Collins still, but I mean, their offensive linemen don't stay healthy anymore. Pick a big dude, Rashawn Slater, who is 6'4", 315. You know, it's a big dude. Take that offensive tackle right there. Help Dak Prescott out, who I hope is your quarterback of the future. The 11th pick with the Giants, very interesting one. I'm not sure where you would go here. It says they need a wide receiver, but I question that because, and it also says they need a tight end. I mean, they've got Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, and Evan Ingram, and Saquon Barkley. I mean, I don't think you need any offensive weapons right now. I think you need to help the defense is where the big thing is. It says they need an edge rusher. I agree. They need some pass rusher. But I think they could also use some tackle machines in the center. Micah Parsons, he can rush off the edge as well. He can be good in blitz, but this guy's a tackle machine. He opted out of this previous season, but he was a tackle machine 2 years prior. Take the best guy that's available right here. I wouldn't reach for a guy like Rousseau from Miami or the guy from Michigan. No reason to reach here. Take the best guy available on the board. You know, some people say this guy's going number 6 to the Eagles. Take the best guy available while you can. 12th pick. Very interesting pick right here because the 49ers, they need a corner, and the problem is the corner is a few picks back. The good news, the Chargers are going to pick an offensive lineman here. You know, the Vikings are going to pick maybe a defensive lineman here. I think the Patriots are going to take Kyle Pitts. The Cardinals are going to need someone defensively, maybe an edge rusher, take one of these guys. And the Raiders are going to need a pass rusher. So I think this is a great opportunity to trade this pick and take someone somewhere else. And I think the team to do that with is the Oakland Raiders. I think they're going to be a team that it's run by John Gruden. They're like, oh, we take risk here, and I think they'll take a big risk that I don't think will pay off. So if I am John Gruden, I would end up trading this pick with the 49ers. Let's see what we can do here to get this trade to go through. 49ers give up this. Let's say they give up the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Nope, the trade does not go through. Oh, I'm giving up too much. The Raiders need that pick, yeah. So they give up the 13th, give up a 5th and a 6th. 49ers also give up a 5th. 2 5ths and a 1 7th. Yeah, 1 7th pick. So that full trade would be the Raiders go aggressive right here. I can't trade 2 first-round picks in a row. Otherwise, I'd do that. But let's just say we're only doing 2 rounds today, so they trade away their first-round pick. They trade away their 3rd, 4th, their 5th, their 6th, and their 7th. And then the 49ers trade away their first-round pick, 2 5th-round picks, and a 7th-round pick. of the better variety. A trade that go through, approved, and now the Raiders are on the clock at number 12, and that's where they reach. And I think they pick a guy like Gregory Rousseau. That comes to the 13th pick with the Los Angeles Chargers. I think you need to help protect Joe Burrow here. So that's or not Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. My apologies. I think you have to protect him here. I don't think he doesn't need any wide receiver talent. You got Mike Williams, you got Keenan Allen. You got a tight end Hunter Henry. You got Austin Eckler. He doesn't need any weapons. He needs to shore up that offensive line. So you pick the offensive tackle from Virginia Tech here with this selection. Let me take a sip of water. Okay, the 14th pick here. The Minnesota Vikings. It says they need an inside offensive lineman, so a guard / center, or they need a inside defensive lineman, like a D tackle. And I agree. I think they really need the Christian Barmore from Alabama here. And I think they take Christian Barmore here at 14th. Vikings aren't the greatest well-run franchise, so they might reach here. But I don't think that's a bad reach. Christian Barmore is a beast out of Alabama. Defensive linemen have all been beasts out of Alabama. Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. A lot of great defensive linemen come out of Alabama because, Nick Saban's a recruiting beast. If you're the Patriots here at 15, you gotta be relevant again. I think you gotta sell tickets. If and when fans do come back, you gotta sell tickets. Why not do it like this? Kyle Pitts, he's Gronkowski. That's what he is. He's exactly what Gronk was. He can block like a beast. He can make all the big plays. He can outrun anyone on the field. Go ahead and get a Gronkowski back. He's the best player on the board. Like I said in that Giants pick, take the best player on the board. You need a tight end. He can block for you in your run-based offense. You can figure out a quarterback in free agency or through a trade. Don't reach here and take Mac Jones. It doesn't make any sense to me. Mac Jones is from Alabama. He plays in that south weather. He ain't going to be used to a New England weather with the cold and the rain and all of that. And you don't want a rookie quarterback to play in that division with the Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Now, those may be 4 losses already, but I think with someone else, you have a chance to win one of those games. Like a Marcus Mariota or someone like that who's played football in this league and is not a rookie quarterback. So take Kyle Pitts here. I mean, Kyle Pitts, he's one of the hits in this draft. You have Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be a hit. Guaranteed. Don't even question it. Penei Sewell. Guaranteed hit. Don't even question it. I think Devontae Smith is going to be a hit. I think Jamar Chase is going to be a hit. I think Jalen Waddle has a good chance to be a Tyreek Hill in this league. And there's a few other guys that have really good chances at being hits. But I think those are with Kyle Pitts, that's a guaranteed hit. I don't care who drafts him or where they play. They're guaranteed to be a future star in this league. I think Kyle Pitts is exactly what the Patriots need. You got to sell tickets. You got to become interesting. You got to have some type of vertical threat, even if it's a tight end. And you also need a guy who can block. Kyle Pitts does all of that. Take him right there. Now we have the Arizona Cardinals. They need pass rush is their biggest thing. I mean, they didn't get to the quarterback at all last year. And then also, they need a corner, but I think they'll take the pass rusher from Michigan here at this pick. Then we're back to the 49ers, where they traded away their pick to get that corner, and they do that right there, picking J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. They needed a corner as their number one guy. Now with the 18th pick, the Miami Dolphins, I've seen a lot of interesting things that can go right here. With the Dolphins, you either have to help protect Tua, or you need to give him weapons to work with. I think they can get a tackle maybe later in the draft. There's a lot of good tackles out there. And then maybe they can get a tackle, you know, through free agency or through a trade. I think, I mean, can you name the running back for the Miami Dolphins right now? I don't think I would have to guess Jordan Howard or Matt Breida. And I'm a nerd. So I don't think there's another guy who can name Miami's running back. I mean, let's go ahead and look it up right here. It says Myles Gaskin, DeAndre Washington, Matt Breida. There he is. But he's like probably the third string back. Let's see if we can pull this up right here. There we go. Running Myles Gaskin. I named one, Matt Breida, but he's the third string back. So you need a running back right here. You need a guy who can be a power back, I think, too. I don't think you need a passing back to help Tua. I think Tua works in this league if he is not the guy who has to throw it 40 times a night. He works if he has to throw it 25. You know, it's very similar to Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's better than Tua because I think Tua is better than Baker Mayfield. I mean, it was shown in college, whether they had better weapons or not. Oklahoma's got a lot of weapons. They had CeeDee Lamb and Hollywood Brown. So I think Tua is better than Baker, but I think he has to play exactly like Baker does. And that is have a guy like a Nick Chubb who can ground and pound. Myles Gaskin, I think, is a pass-catching back anyway, so he can be a good third-down running back here. So I think if you're the Dolphins with this pick, take Najee Harris. It says it's a reach, but Najee Harris tore people apart last year. I mean, he is a Derrick Henry. He is a guaranteed hit in this draft. Him and Etienne are both guaranteed hits. At running back in this first round, it's your decision. Do you want Derrick Henry or do you want Alvin Kamara? That's a pretty good pair of options right there. I think the Dolphins want a Derrick Henry, and I think they take Najee Harris right here rather than trading back. Go ahead and take him right now to make sure someone else doesn't get him. Now the 19th pick, I think this is one of the most intriguing picks in the draft. The Washington football team. What do they need? Well, Alex Smith, I don't know if he can stay healthy anymore, so I don't know. He can be a quarterback for a year, but can he stay healthy and play 16 games and make the playoffs again? I don't know. Taylor Heineke came back, guy who made the big playoff performance. I love that guy, but he's I don't know if he's a franchise guy. I think he can play a year. I think he can light up the field on any given night. But I don't know if he can do that 4 weeks in a row. I don't know if he can do that 6 weeks in a row. You know, I don't know if he can do that against really good defenses or on the road. That was a home playoff game, very comfortable. He knew he was going to be the quarterback. And granted, he stepped up under the spotlight and he made good plays. But you need a quarterback of the future. I don't think Taylor Heineke is the quarterback of the future for the Washington football team. And I think this is a good spot where you can throw in Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones goes number 19th, the 19th pick to the Washington football team because he's a good pocket passing quarterback. He's a good talent. You know, he's gonna need a good defense to succeed in this league. I mean, that's just fact. I mean, that's far from fiction. He's gonna need a good defense to succeed in this league. And with Ron Rivera and that pass rush and Chase Young and Montez Sweat and Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, I mean, he's going to have a great defense that'll give him, chances. If he can put up 24 points with that offense, they can win a lot of football games with Mac Jones. And he throws a great ball. He throws a very good deep ball. I mean, I didn't see him miss. Granted, they were wide open. I didn't see him miss any of the Alabama wide receivers this year. He shows great poise. He waited 4 years, so he was under that Alabama system for 4 years and then showed, hey, I wasn't doing nothing for 4 years. I was actually playing good football, and he proved that by winning a national championship with the Crimson Tide. So I think he can be a quarterback for the Washington football team right here. Hey, and the good news is he's playing in a horrid division. I mean, Washington may go 7-9 again and make the playoffs. The Giants with Daniel Jones aren't getting any better. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles and that new coach, I don't know. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys are the only competition. And guess what? That's Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Say it again. That's Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. And Mike McCarthy is the head coach. Yeah, Ron Rivera is the best coach in that division. Mac Jones can be the second best quarterback in that division. I think he can be better than Jalen Hurts. And I think he's better than Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones. He's the better Jones here. Mac Jones, way better than Daniel Jones. Would you rather have a Big Mac or would you rather have a guy named Daniel? Exactly. Mac Jones. Big Mac Jones. That's his new nickname. Starting now. Big Mac Jones. That's what I'm going to call him. He's the second best quarterback in that division if he's taken. Great pick if you're the Washington football team. Good first round pick here. Quarterback of the future. Anyways. Never thought I'd talk more about Mac Jones than I did right there. That is for sure. We will go on to the Chicago Bears. The shit show. They missed out on Carson Wentz, unfortunately. Mitchell Trubisky, will he be the quarterback? Will they get Deshaun Watson? I hope not. Will Nick Foles be the quarterback? I don't know. Matt Nagy, his job is going to be on the line. Unfortunately for him, I think he's a great coach, but he had Mitchell Trubisky as his quarterback for many years. It says they need a quarterback. I agree. Unfortunately, they miss out on Mac Jones, but I don't think Mac Jones is a good fit in Chicago just because of that cold weather. I don't know if he handles that very well. For this Chicago team, I don't think you need another wide receiver here. I think, you don't need Jalen Waddle. How are you going to get Jalen Waddle the ball? That's the question. I mean, who's going to play quarterback is the biggest question. So I think take that defense is good enough. Take someone to protect whoever your quarterback is. Elijah Vera Tucker, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, he's not a bum, that's for sure. I can promise you that. This guy, he's 6'4", 315. Yeah, big dude. He'll be a good offensive lineman. And it's always good in opportunities like this to pick offensive linemen for the future because they can play for 10 years and not really do much. I mean, picks like this go under the radar. Skip Bayless talks about a lot on Undisputed, the Zach Martin pick in the year of Johnny Manziel's draft. Jerry Jones wanted to take Johnny Manziel, but his son, Stephen Jones, came in and said, take Zach Martin here. Don't take Johnny Manziel. He's got problems. And he was right. Stephen Jones was right in that decision. Zach Martin is going into the Hall of Fame. He's played an unbelievable career so far, and he's probably got 3 or 4 more good years with that team. And Johnny Manziel is playing fan-controlled football, saying, we lose, we booze. Wasted his career. I love the kid. I mean, I loved being called the nickname Johnny Football as a kid because of Johnny Manziel. Sad that he ruined a career, and now is playing fan-controlled football where he completes 1 of 5 passes for 11 yards and says, we lose, we booze. I don't even know how I got to that tangent. How did I get to that tangent? Oh, yeah, I was talking about how Elijah Vera Tucker is a good pick. Okay, we're good. Found it back. Okay. 21st pick with the Indianapolis Colts here. They got Carson Wentz, their quarterback of the future. Let's go, baby. I may be getting a Carson Wentz jersey very soon. Video on Wentz coming very soon as well. This is an interesting pick, I think, for Carson Wentz. You don't need offensive linemen, even though this is an offensive tackle. They did lose Anthony Caston, though, which can be a problem. They don't need a quarterback either. They could use some secondary help, and I think they could also they don't need wide receiver help. They got Eric Pascal, they got T.Y. Hilton if they re-sign him, and they got Michael Pittman, so he's got receivers to throw to. Jonathan Taylor is going to be a great player for that team. So I think with the loss of Anthony Costanzo, they pick the offensive tackle from Texas. I think he's what is he, 6'6"? Yes. Oh, he's 6'7". Jesus Christ. 6'7", 309. Yeah, I don't think you can go very wrong with getting 6'7", 309. It's hard to go wrong with that pick. Take the offensive tackle after the loss of Anthony Costanzo. Give Carson Wentz a little more help in that pocket. Anyway, we go to the Titans pick now. They need pass rush big time. So the question is, do you take the edge rusher from Georgia or the one from Miami? The one from Miami is 6'3". He plays more like a defensive lineman. In fact, and I think in this CBS thing, he's a D tackle. The guy from Georgia, he plays more like an edge rusher, more like a linebacker, and I think that's what this Titans team needs, is more of an edge rusher and not really an inside lineman. Take the edge rusher from Georgia here. It's not a bad pick. Georgia guys are good prospects. A lot of them have proven that, especially first rounders. I think that's a good pick. The Titans need help rushing the passer. Take a young rookie with young legs who can probably make good moves and get to the quarterback. The Jets, their second first-round pick. This one they received from the Seattle Seahawks. They got their quarterback of the future with Zach Wilson here. And now this is where their second pick comes into play. You got to give Zach Wilson some weapons. You got very lucky here. And now, like I said, with the Giants pick and the Patriots pick, take the best player on the board, Jalen Waddle. He's a stud. He's going to be a star in this league. He can be the next Tyreek Hill. Stupid fast. Take Jalen Waddle there. You can't really go wrong. Okay. Now, with the Steelers, the 24th pick in the draft, they need help for whoever their quarterback is. I don't like that Big Ben is going to stay there. Who would they take? This is a tough decision if you're them, because there's not very many guys that are sticking out right here that you would need. They does say they need D-line, which means D-tackle, and I just said Jalen Phillips would be good for that. So I think they'll take Jalen Phillips out of Miami. I don't know a lot about him because he plays for Miami, and Miami got their shit beat by Clemson this previous year. So I don't know a lot about that team. I know Gregory Rousseau, though. Anyway, Jaguars pick here, their second pick in the first round. They need to help Trevor Lawrence, and this is where I get into a little speculating here. Urban Meyer, the new head coach, I think he picks Wyatt Davis here. And the reason I say that is because Urban Meyer recruited this guy 4 years ago. He knows this kid's good. He knows he's going to get the job done, and you need protection for Trevor Lawrence because you don't want a situation where your quarterback continues to get beat up and his career is subsequently ruined because of it by injury. And I think that's what happened partially to Deshaun Watson. He took so many hits. I mean, he might have lost 1 or 2 good years of his prime because he took so many hits. Protect Trevor Lawrence here. You recruited this guy. You know he's good. Take Wyatt Davis here at the 25th pick. Yes, it's a stretch a little bit, but Urban Meyer knows what he's doing. He probably has scouted very well. He may trade back for that pick. Who's to say, though? The 26th pick with the Cleveland Browns. They need edge rushing. And in this pick, they need defense. This is the big thing. They need a corner. They need linebacker help. They need a lot of things. I think with this pick, it's the Browns. The Browns is the Browns, like Juju Smith-Schuster said, after then getting beat by the Browns by a billion points. I think they'll take Joseph Asai here and reach a little bit, but I don't think it's too bad of a reach here. And the reason is Myles Garrett is a beast, but you can double team Myles Garrett anytime you want. And that's where guys like Olivier Vernon can get a lot of sacks because Myles Garrett is being double teamed, which means you got one-on-one with everybody else. And that's if you're rushing 4. So take Joseph Asai here. He can play linebacker. He can play as a good edge rusher. Take him here to be on the opposite side of Myles Garrett and to make that pass rush a force. I think that's going to be a big thing for the Browns going forward. Can you make that pass rush to be a force if you're not able to shore up your secondary? Because they're not going to have a lot of time to stay locked in man-to-man. So when you blitz, that pass rush better get there. Or when you drop back help, that pass rush better get there with 4. I mean, you saw that with the Buccaneers. That's the reason they won the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs, is because that pass rusher was able to get there with 4. They dropped back, and they covered everybody. Take Joseph Asai there. It's not too bad of a reach there because I think he's a good player. The Ravens here with the 27th pick. It says they need edge rusher, says they need tight end, says they need receiver, says they need a lot of things here. They just picked Patrick Queen a year ago, so I don't think JOK or Zaven Collins is a good look to help Patrick Queen if they pick, another linebacker here. So I would say take a guy to help Lamar Jackson at wide receiver. Question is, do you take a Rashad Bateman or do you take a Kadarius Toney? Question is, do you want a physical guy or a vertical threat here? You already have Hollywood Brown, so I don't think you need a vertical threat here. I think you take Rashad Bateman in here. He's a good player, played at Minnesota in that cold weather, and to be a first-round pick at wide receiver to play at Minnesota, that takes a lot of talent. So I don't think he's going to be too bad of a pick there for the Ravens. The New Orleans Saints here. They need help in the secondary. They need a corner of some sorts to help them out. And the problem is the corner they need is a little bit further back in the draft. So being a Sades fan, let's go ahead and see if we can organize a trade. See if we can trade this pick for something right here. Those 2 corners were rated. Let's see if we can get like a 40th pick. There you go. Can you get the 43rd pick? Possibly from San Francisco. 43rd pick, and then I don't know. Does anyone have 2 second round? The Jets have 2 second rounders. No, they don't. I lied. I'm stupid. Who has 2 second rounders? I think Jacksonville has 2 second rounders. They do. Let's say they trade with San Francisco here. So they trade a first for a second and a third, and then a pair of 7s. That's a trade that the Saints would need to make. And let's put it through. So the 49ers come up into the 28th pick in the draft through that trade. And the 49ers need help on the inside of the offensive line. They need edge rushers. But I also think you can pick a guy at offensive tackle here. So the question is, do you take the one from Alabama or do you take the one from Michigan? The question is, do you take Jim Harbaugh or Nick Saban? You take Nick Saban. Take the offensive tackle from Alabama. Not a hard choice to make there. And now with the Packers, a year ago you drafted Jordan Love. He's not going to play for ever. It's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. He's just going to get traded. As simple as that. If he even has any value. That's a wasted first-round pick by the Green Bay Packers a year ago. You didn't appease Aaron Rodgers. He thought he's thinking about leaving. He was moping and shit. Appease him this time, and you take either Tony or Rondell Moore. I think you take the one from Purdue. Just because he's can be more used to that cold weather, playing in Purdue, rather than the guy from Florida who plays in that warm weather. Green Bay's a different kind of temperature. Take the speed demon from Purdue at that 29th pick. Just make Aaron Rodgers happy. Now, if you're a Bills fan, you couldn't ask for it any other way. You need some linebacker help to help Edmonds, your middle linebacker, to help up with the tackles. Question is, do you take JOK or Zaven Collins? And that's a tough decision right here, because I don't think JOK is rated as high as that board has him. I think Zaven Collins is a better player, and that's no offense to JOK from Notre Dame. He's a great player. Made a big play in that Clemson game where Etienne basically handed him the ball and he ran into the end zone. Zaven Collins is a tackle machine. I watched him play against Mississippi State in that bowl game that got physical for no reason. After the game, Zaven Collins is a tackle machine. Pick him there. Tremaine, or you have Edmonds, and you have Zaven Collins. That's a pretty good linebacker crew with that Buffalo Bills defense. And now, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you got to protect Patrick Mahomes. There's no other way to put it. Just take the offensive tackle from Michigan right here. I don't know a lot about him, but take him. You got to protect Patrick Mahomes. There's not even a question about it. If he's going to have to run around like that when one or two guys are out on that offensive line, that's a problem. You can't pay him that much money to force him to take that much contact and to have to run around like that for 10 plus years. Take a guy to help protect him, even if he's just for depth, even if it's just to be a backup. You need a solid guy to come in and help protect Patrick Mahomes. You can keep a guy like this. A first-round pick lasts for 4 years. 2 years and 2-team option, or 4 years and then a 5th-year option. So that's 5 years of a good offensive tackle who was a first-round pick. You can't go wrong here. You don't need any more weapons. You're good on weapons. Your weapons are going to stay there anyway. Take someone to protect Patrick Mahomes. All right, and now with the final pick of the first round, you have the Buccaneers here. They need more pass rush because I think they're going to end up losing Shaquille Barrett. I don't think they're going to have enough money to pay him. So take another young guy who can pass rush. Take the guy from Penn State who also opted out this previous year. He's probably going to be a good player. He doesn't have to be the star, but that's because Jason Pierre-Paul can be the star or the big-time pass rusher. He doesn't have to be the main guy. And to start the second round now, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their first 2 picks were Trevor Lawrence and then the guy Wyatt Davis from Ohio State. A few good guys fell into that second round. You have JOK, Tony, Travis Etienne. Maybe Etienne and Lawrence meet up. I don't think you need to. You have James Robinson down there in Jacksonville. He can be the running back of the future. He had a great statistical year, even with that 1-15 team. Can't really go wrong with taking a guy like that. You picked up an offensive lineman to help protect Trevor Lawrence. So now I think you pick another. Why not? There's a decision here. Do you take the guy from TCU or do you take the guy from Oklahoma State? And is that Oklahoma State? Yeah, it is. Where is he? He is. Whoa. Let's see if he's even on here. Wow, he's all the way down there at 109. Why is he so high? Okay, well, in that case, let's look at it. I would take the guy from Notre Dame. That dude is a big dude. Um, he's going to be a good offensive lineman. You know, offensive linemen that come from Notre Dame usually tend to play very well. Um, take him right there on that pick. It could be a reach, but hey, we got to protect Trevor Lawrence if he's going to have any chance. He's got the wide receiver talent in D.D. Westbrook and DJ Chark. And I think they should make a big push for Allen Robinson in free agency. You know, to give that rookie quarterback, the young quarterback, a big-time receiver to throw to. You know, he doesn't have to force the ball to him, but he needs someone he can trust to go, you know, make some big plays for him. You already got James Robinson. You have Tyler Eifert at tight end. You need to protect Trevor Lawrence. And then the defense can be something you also focus on in free agency because there's going to be good defensive players. Maybe you pick up a guy like Shaquille Barrett in free agency, you know, to shore up that pass rush. You picked C.J. Henderson from Florida in the top 10 last year at corner. You know, he's going to play very good. Maybe you go get a Quandre Diggs from the Cowboys. You can get defense through free agency and later on in the draft. What you can't get is offensive tackles. That is one of the hardest things to get. The only place to get it is through the draft. Take one right here if you're the Jaguars here. You got to protect Trevor Lawrence because he's the quarterback of the future for you. And then with the 34th pick by the New York Jets, who are they going to take right here? I don't know. The Jets need a running back. And this is where I say it's unfortunate for my main man, Travis Etienne. Dude's a stud. He's going to be a star in this league. But unfortunately, he's going to have to play with the Jets. And that is because the Jets don't have a running back. Their running back is Frank Gore. Yes, the 45-year-old who is playing running back still in this league. Dude's a stud. You know, congratulations to him for playing so long in his career, even on a terrible team like the Jets. And now for this past season. But Travis Etienne, Zach Wilson, that's not a bad pair of weapons right there, if I do say so myself. And you also picked Jalen Waddle. I mean, that's 3 young stars to go in with Robert Saleh. Hopefully he picks a good offensive coordinator. Jets can be something to watch on TV, that's for sure. They'll be a fun watch. And especially if they trade Sam Darnold, you might get a second-round pick as well where you can pick guys to play defense or offensive linemen. So I don't think that's a terrible pick right there if you're the Jets. If you're the Falcons right here, you need help defensively. JOK, who was projected to go in the first-round pick, has dropped all the way right here. Take JOK. He's the best player on the board. 18th rated on this one. Not as high rated in others. Take him right there. It's a good pick right there to play linebacker along with Deion Jones and Foyosad Oluwakan. That's right. I know Falcons players probably more than you do. Shout out Ricardo Allen. I don't even remember what happened, but he's something about goodbye on his Instagram or something earlier today. I don't know if he's leaving or if he retired. Who knows? His post said he was still playing, so I have no idea. I guess they decided to not re-sign him. Anyway, the Dolphins with their 36th pick in the draft, 4th pick of the second round. The Dolphins picked their wide receiver in Devontae Smith, and they also picked their running back in Najee Harris. So they need offensive lineman help. Well, doesn't everyone? Offensive tackles here. You know, you have Tevin Jenkins. How big is that dude even? Oh, he's 6'6". That's not bad. It's hard to go wrong with 6'6". Problem is, I think you can get something better at this selection to help protect. How big is the guy from North Dakota State? 6'6". Well, Jackson Carman's only 6'5". How big is Creed Humphrey? 6'5". Well, let's say we decided to trust this board right here. And this board would tell you to take Jackson Carman right here, another guy from Clemson right here, to help protect Tua. You need to do that as best you can. See if you can help protect him. Maybe they'll trade further back to get a different or to get more picks and then pick Jackson Carman or a different offensive lineman later in the draft. But I think you pick Jackson Carman right here if you decided you weren't going to trade this pick. And now we come back to the Eagles. You also need help on defense, as well as you need secondary help. The problem is there's not a great corner that's right here where you need to be for that corner. So with that being said, the Eagles take one of the best players on the board. Take Nick Bolton from Missouri right here. I don't think that's a hard pick to go wrong with. I don't know a lot about him, but I'm sure he's good. I'm sure he's rated pretty high. I mean, we're getting into the spots where I don't know everything about these kids. And then the Bengals, I think you need another guy to go along with T. Higgins and that wide receiver core with Joe Burrow. So this is a good spot to pick Kadarius Toney out of Florida. Speed demon. He can help out Joe Burrow a lot with that wide receiver core. And then for the Carolina Panthers, their selection in round 2 is where things get interesting. I think you have a chance to pick Kyle Trask right here. And I would say that because, well, I mean, the Broncos may want to pick him. So you can take him from the Broncos. The Giants may choose to pick him. I think that's definitely a consideration if you're a Giants team right now. Daniel Jones may not be the future for you. Go ahead and pick KJ Costello from Mississippi State. No, the guy who got benched for freaking Will Apple. Love you, KJ, but got benched for Will Apple. No, pick Kyle Trask here. Seriously. I don't think it's a terrible pick. Because what does Kyle Trask need? He needs time to, learn a system. He'll have a good offensive coach in Matt Rule. But he needs time to get used to the NFL speed. Because he's not a raw talent. He throws a good ball. He's got a good arm. He's got good poise. He's very much like Mac Jones. But he just needs time. And Teddy Bridgewater can do that for you. Unless, of course, they trade and get Deshaun Watson here. If Teddy Bridgewater's the quarterback and he plays for a year or two, Kyle Trask can be a good pick right there and can be your quarterback of the future for the Carolina Panthers. I think after that, none of these quarterbacks really stand out to me. Mrs. Book. What is he doing? Or what is she doing here? Interesting gal. Mrs. Book. What a lady. You're the Denver Broncos. You need pass rush. Take the guy from Wake Forest. Might as well. I don't see a problem with that pick. Lions, you need wide receiver help, it says, but I disagree. You have Kenny Galladay. And I forgot the other guy's name. Well, screw it. Let's go and look it up. Detroit Lions. Wide receivers. Who do the Detroit Lion wide receivers? Danny Amendola. I guess I was thinking about Marvin Jones. Maybe I was. I don't know. I don't know if you need Terrence Marshall right here. I don't know if he's the best pick for you. I think you need help protecting whoever your quarterback, but I also think you need secondary help. So take one of the two corners coming out of Georgia. let's just say they take Tyson Campbell here. I don't think that's a terrible pick if you're that team. And then if you're the Giants, with your pick, tough one. I think you take a guy to help protect Daniel Jones. Take another offensive lineman. Take the Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma. It's actually a very good talent. Lincoln Riley is doing a really good job recruiting offensive linemen. I mean, Orlando Brown is a stud in this league. And there's going to be a lot of good offensive tackles and offensive linemen that come from Oklahoma because Lincoln Riley recruits very well. And then we come back to the Saints pick. They traded for this pick to pick a corner. They take Eric Stokes out of Georgia, the other corner. And then you come to the Dallas Cowboys. They needed a corner. They didn't get him by getting Eric Stokes, so they take Asante Samuel out of Florida State. Not a bad talent at all. That is for sure. Then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They need a corner, but I also think they need a safety here. Take the guy from TCU. I don't know a lot about him, but I'm sure we'll hear more about him as the draft comes up and gets closer and closer. And then the Patriots. Now you need wide receiver help. You're in a good spot here. Let's go. You get Terrence Marshall, the wide receiver out of LSU. The other guy that opted out. Take him because he's the best wide receiver on the board. And there isn't really another good one as you get further down. Maybe Amon St. Brown. Maybe Elijah Moore. But it's hard to go wrong with another LSU receiver from that historic college football team of LSU 2 years ago. If you're the Chargers, who do you pick right here? I think you take another guy to help protect Mr. Justin Herbert. Sorry, that was I don't know why that was a mouthful to get that out. Yeah, get another guy to protect Mr. Justin Herbert. I think you take Deontay Brown from Alabama. And he's rated very high, but I also think he's a very good player. It's another Alabama guy. It's hard to go wrong by picking another Alabama guy. The problem with Landon Dickerson here with this pick is, well, he had the bad injury. I don't know how well he's going to recover. I don't know if he'll get back to full health. Offensive linemen like Tyron Smith just has nagging injuries after nagging injury. He's a stud left tackle, will be a Hall of Famer one day. But he never gets to play 16 games because he's always hurt. So that's why I don't know if I pick Landon Dickerson this high. I think there's too high of a risk that comes along with that pick. And then if you're the Raiders, go ahead and take the guy from Iowa. That dude's like 6'3". It says he's a D lineman. He plays more like a defensive end. You need pass rush with that team. I mean, you're going to play Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert 4 times a year. You got to be able to rush with 4 because they're going to throw it all over the park. So you have to be able to rush with 4. You traded up to get an edge rusher earlier and Gregory Rousseau. You need help here. Get young talent. You'll have more young talent to play on that defensive line, and hopefully they turn into good players. I mean, look at what happened with Washington. 4 straight years of picking first or second round linemen or defensive linemen. Now they have a pass rush that's one of the best in the league, behind maybe the Buccaneers. All right. If you're the Arizona Cardinals, looks like my camera went out. I don't know when that happened. That's good. Luckily, this is still recording. Right here. You're the Arizona Cardinals. 49th pick here in the draft. What does it say they need? It says they need a corner. It also says they need a running back. I would also argue they need a tight end, a blocking tight end, a pass-catching tight end. I think the guy from Penn State's actually very good. I liked watching him play. He's 6'5", so he's about as big as Kyle Pitts. He's 260, so he's going to be able to block very well, which will help Kyler Murray a little bit right here. They don't have a tight end. He doesn't have a good tight end to throw to, and all the good quarterbacks that play really high quality football have good tight ends to throw to. I mean, the two in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Brady, Gronk, and the AFC Championship, Josh Allen doesn't have a tight end, but he's got Stephon Diggs. And the Packers don't have a tight end. Well, now actually, Robert Tonyan's a very good tight end. Also, I think from Penn State. Take a tight end here, to help with blocking, to help Kyler Murray's protection. He can almost play like an offensive tackle, being 6'5", 260, and he could be a good pass catcher. Tight ends are always a great weapon in this league if they're big and fast, and I'm sure that guy is plenty fast. Okay, and now with the Miami Dolphins, you've solved your wide receiver problem with Devontae Smith. You've picked up Najee Harris, and you picked up an offensive tackle by the name of Jackson Carman. So, take a linebacker. It says you need one. I also think you could argue take an inside offensive lineman. That wouldn't be a terrible pick right here. If you're the Miami Dolphins. Let's see it. How high? Oh, he's 28. Dang. Okay, well, Trey Smith looks like a stud if that rating is as good as it actually argues to be. Go ahead and take him. Yeah, take Trey Smith for sure with that pick. Now, if you're the Washington football team, you need to help protect whoever your quarterback is. You picked Mac Jones, so let's go ahead and get a guy who's going to protect him very well. Question is, who do you pick here? That is always the question of the day. It says the Dillon guy is rated pretty high, so let's take Mr. Dillon from North Dakota State. 6'6", 299, pretty big dude, but also pretty limber at 299. It's not a lot of weight for an offensive lineman, especially an offensive tackle. So I don't think that's too bad of a pick right there if you're the Washington football team. Okay. The Chicago Bears here. Their pick. Their second-round pick. They picked in the first round, and if I can remember, they picked an offensive lineman. Who did they pick? Or who did I pick for them? Oh, yeah, the guy from USC where I went a big rant about Zach Martin. That is correct. You need a quarterback, but there's no quarterback right here. Jamie Newman he didn't play for an entire year. I don't know if he's any good or going to be very good for a team. He might. I argue you don't need. The Bears are the Bears. Just as the Browns are the Browns, they take Tevin Jenkins here. The offensive tackle has been sitting there for a while, and I have not picked because of the one draft prospecting from CBS of all places that I believe is the end-all, be-all. He was not picked, so now go ahead and pick him. Screw it. Just do whatever you want. Titans need guys on the inside. Take the guy from Washington. Seems to be rated very high. If you're the Colts here, I think, you need some corner help for sure. Question is, do you take Shaun Wade? I think you do. I think Shaun Wade's a very good corner. I don't think he's Jeff Okudah level of talent, but I still think he's a very good corner and can be a very good corner in this league. He's not a number one, but he doesn't have to be a number one when you have that defense and you're going to have that pass rush led by DeForest Buckner and Darius Leonard. So, I mean, that's not a terrible pick at all. And the good news, you kept this pick when that Carson Wentz trade. You didn't have to trade this pick. So, this is a good pick for you. to take Sean Wade right there. And that leaves the Pittsburgh Steelers up, who also need corner help. They need a lot of help in a lot of places. They need an offensive tackle. And I think they take Landon Dickerson here. Castro's getting old. Who's going to be your quarterback of the future? I don't know. Take Landon Dickerson. That dude was a beast before he got hurt. Very sad that he did get hurt. Hopefully he'll be ready to go. If he's rated this high still, by all means, it sounds like he'll make a full recovery. Go ahead and pick him right there. It's less of a risk now because it's later on in the draft. So go ahead and take him right there if you can get a good guy like him. The Seahawks, they traded away their first-round pick for Jamal Adams. Didn't end up working out. I mean, Jamal Adams is a stud, but, that defense still wasn't amazing. But you run into a thing where Russell Wilson is openly complaining about offensive linemen. Take the guy from Ohio State to make him happy. You got to make Russell Wilson happy so Russell Wilson doesn't demand a trade like Deshaun Watson. I don't think he'll end up ever doing that. I think he's a Seahawk for life. Unless Pete Carroll dies tomorrow, which I damn sure hope doesn't happen because I love Pete Carroll. But unless that happens, Russell Wilson's a Seahawk for life. Make him happy. Keep him there. Don't make him change his mind. Don't make him hold out. Don't make him, have to make any bargains with you. Make him happy. Pick a good offensive lineman from Ohio State. And now for the Rams, they traded their first-round pick for Matt Stafford. And now you need to protect Matt Stafford. It was hard to do that for Jared Goff. That was part of the problem for Jared Goff is he didn't have a lot of protection at all. So go ahead. I don't know. Maybe you wait right here. Maybe you trade this pick. I think you could also use defensive help. And Dylan Moses is a very good player, not only because he's from Alabama, but this guy's fast. He can cover it, play in coverage. So, you allow that front forward to pass rush. He can guard a running back or a tight end in pass coverage. So I don't think that's a too terrible pick. I think with that third-round pick, you better pick an offensive tackle to help protect Matt Stafford. Because, Whitworth is old, and that offensive line didn't protect all that great for Jared Goff. So help Matt Stafford out by taking an offensive lineman in the third round. But go ahead and take Dylan Moses here because he's the best player on the board. That's what he is. He's the best player on the board. Take him. If you can't fit a need that you need so badly right then and there, and you think you can later, take the best player on the board. That's what I would always say. Take the best player on the board. And now, if you are the Ravens, you have two options at safety. And I think both of these are good options, but I think Javon Holland is the better option at safety. I think he's rated higher in a lot of more things. I haven't heard of Andre Cisco at all, to be quite frank with you. And frankly, I don't remember asking who Andre Cisco was. Apologies to you, Andre Cisco. Don't care. Browns pick. You need a corner help. Problem is there aren't any good corners left on this board. So what do you take? You needed edge rusher help. Why not take another one? Take the guy from Washington or take the guy from Pittsburgh here. Either or. Take one of them, and hopefully they can do good for you, along with Joseph Asai, who I said they should pick earlier. And then if you're the New Orleans Saints here, you're going to lose Trey Hendrickson. I think that's unfortunate for us. Me as a Saints fan is I know we're going to lose Trey Hendrickson. It's the same thing with Shaquille Barrett and in Tampa Bay. We don't have enough money to pay him. So we need more young talent on that defensive line to keep them burning and chugging and being beast like they are. So let's take Patrick Jones here. Take an edge rusher, a guy who can be a speed demon on the outside. You already traded and got your corner. So go ahead and take another guy who can blitz to replace. You're not going to replace Trey Henderson immediately, but you can do as best you can by taking someone in the draft. And now, if you are the Buffalo Bills here, I do agree they kind of need some running back help. But I think with Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, you can get the job done. I mean, that offense is going to be strictly pass first with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley and John Brown. And they kept their offensive coordinator and Brad Dable, I think. That's his name. Yeah. So that's going to be continued to be a pass first offense. I don't think you need a running back here, even though it says you do. You could use a lineman. There's not very good one that stands out that's sitting right here for you to pick, unfortunately. So let's this is a tough one if you are at this spot because there's not a great guy here, and I don't know about best guy on the board. Does it say you need a tight end? Because I don't mind picking Brevin Jordan here. Brevin Jordan's a very good player, a very good speedy player. Let's say they reach here. Maybe they scouted him and they did very well with that scouting, and they reached here for that Miami edge rusher, Quincy Roche. All right, coming down to the final stretch here. Packers, you already picked the wide receiver to help out Mr. Aaron Rodgers. You don't need a running back. Why the fuck is quarterback even on here? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Look at this shit. Quarterback is on here? Wow. This place might have to shut down this site. This place has lost their mind. Quarterback is on here? That's insane. I think Colin Cowherd said on the air today, Green Bay is a pass rusher away from being right where they need to be, and I quite frankly agree. So take a defensive lineman right there. I don't think it's hard to go wrong with that pick. Take him right there to help Kenny Clark and Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith in that offensive line. And then with the final two picks right here, we have Kansas City, the Chiefs, and we have the Buccaneers. If I'm Kansas City here, I'm thinking because they don't need a safety. I don't think that's a real true need for them. They don't necessarily need corner help. They need offensive lineman help as much as they can. So I say they reach here. No, that's not what they'll do. They will pick either Chad Surratt or Jabril Cox here. I think they pick Jabril. I think is a safer option right there with that LSU team. Mac Brown is doing a great job at North Carolina, but I think LSU, it's a safer pick. If you're the Buccaneers, you need defensive line help. Pick this guy from USC, who is 6'3", 315. Yeah, he's a big dude. He's a Via big dude. Anyway, that's the first two rounds right there. That was probably did it for well over an hour and a half. Took a lot longer than I thought I would. Probably should have just stopped at 1 round, but as part of this is a little bit of fun. Just drafting here. You kind of slow down at the end because you start not having as good of an idea about who the players are. But anyway, there is my mock draft, first edition, the JP mock draft for the NFL draft upcoming. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Devontae Smith, Justin Fields, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, Trey Lance, Patrick Surtain, Caleb Farley, Rashawn Slater, Micah Parsons, Gregory Rousseau, Christian Darrisaw, Christian Barmore, Kyle Pitts, Kwity Paye, J.C. Horn, Najee Harris, Mac Jones, Eli Vera Tucker, Samuel Cosme, the guy from Georgia, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Wyatt Davis, Joseph Asai, Rashad Bateman, Alex Leatherwood, Rondell Moore, Zaven Collins, Jalen Mayfield, Jason Owa, Liam Eichenberg, J.O.K., Jackson Carman, Nick Bolton, Kadarius Toney, Kyle Trask, Carlos Bassam Jr., Tyson Campbell, Creed Humphrey, Eric Stokes, Asante Samuel Jr., Trevon, Terrence Marshall Jr., Deontay Brown, Davion Nixon, Pat, last name, Trey Smith, Dylan Reduns, Tevin Jenkins, Levi, last name, Sean Wade, Landon Dickerson, Josh Myers, Dylan Moses, Javon Holland, Joe Tyron, Patrick Jones, Quincy Roche, Marvin Wilson, Jabril Cox, and Jay, last name. That is the first and second round of my first official mock draft. That was fun. It's good to be back. More of it coming soon. I hope you enjoyed this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. Share this with your father, your mother, cousins, your dog, your teachers. Share it with me. I mean, send it right back to me. And I'll send it to more people. Send it to your friends. Throw it on your story. It's good stuff. I hope it was informative, at least a little bit. Even if it is super nerd shit. But I mean, I love football, and this is college stuff, and I didn't even watch a lot of college football this year just because of COVID. I know a lot more NFL stuff. That is for sure. So this is just scratching the surface of the knowledge that is in my brain. Weird flex, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you very soon in a video where I talk about Mr. Carson Wentz and give you 11, hence his number, 11 good reasons why Wentz is not Oscar the Grouch and is more like Elmo, your favorite character from Sesame Street. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out, my homies, as the kids these days say.